When you look at a sports scorecard, there's this expectation of absolute precision, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's like looking at a receipt from a restaurant. You see the final numbers, who scored what, and the bottom line just points and says, there it is, this team won.
Right. You assume you know exactly what happened out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a scorecard from today's T20 World Cup match between England and Ireland is actually hiding, a medical mystery.
Oh, it hides a lot of things.
Yeah.
That neat little printout, it really strips away the human element entirely.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't show you the weather, the grueling tournament schedule, the psychological pressure,
Yeah.
or just the sheer attrition rate that these athletes are dealing with behind the scenes.
Which is exactly why you, the learner, are here with us for this deep dive. Because on paper, England chasing down a target of 118 runs to beat Ireland seems like, the most routine, laborious victory you could possibly imagine.
A total snooze fest, honestly.
Right. But we are going to look past that receipt today. We're going to unpack how this seemingly straightforward run chase transformed into a masterclass on risk management, featuring early bowling dominance, a shocking top-order collapse, and an unprecedented piece of World Cup history.
Something that fundamentally changes how we think about the concept of toughness in sports.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to really understand how this game unfolded, we have to look at the environment, because they didn't play this in a vacuum. Before a single ball was even bowled, a massive rainstorm blasted across Southampton.
Right, as players were leaving the field following Sri Lanka's thrilling win over New Zealand, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the delay lasted over an hour. And even though England eventually won with 15 balls remaining and lost no overs, that delay completely resets the biological clock of everyone involved.
Right, let's talk about the physical toll of that, because an hour-long rain delay isn't just sitting around waiting for the grass to dry. These athletes had already gone through their warm-ups, their adrenaline had spiked, and then they're told to just, go sit in a locker room and stare at the walls.
Which is an absolute nightmare for an athlete's body. I mean, you are primed to perform, your heart rate is up, your muscles are loose, and then you're forced into this abrupt, sedentary holding pattern.
Yeah, the adrenaline just crashes.
Exactly. The muscles cool down. It makes batters, in particular, incredibly prone to physical stiffness and, honestly, mental errors when they finally do step out onto the pitch.
In England, they knew exactly how to exploit those cold muscles. They came out of the gate with this level of aggression that was almost surgical, just completely suffocating Ireland's batters from the very first over.
Oh, they were ruthless.
Okay, let's unpack this. Specifically what England's pests of the power play did. Because Lindsay Smith, she strikes on her 6th wall, which is only the 12th ball of the entire game. She gets Amy Hunter out on a telegraphed sweep that just crashes into the stumps.
Right.
For someone who doesn't watch cricket every weekend, what exactly makes a shot telegraphed, and why is it so fatal?
So a sweep shot is where a batter drops down on one knee and essentially tries to sweep the ball away with the bat, kind of like a broom.
Okay.
It can be a really effective, aggressive shot. But telegraphing, it means Hunter decided she was going to play that specific shot before Smith had even released the ball.
Yeah.
She physically committed her body position way too early.
Oh, she showed her hand.
Precisely. And in a fast-paced format like T20 cricket, predictability is a death sentence. By dropping her posture early, Hunter gave Smith, who is, a master at altering her pace, a split second to read her body language.
Wow, so Smith just adjusts on the fly.
Exactly. Smith simply adjusted her trajectory, took the pace off the ball, and made it dip sharply. Because Hunter was already locked into her sweep motion, she couldn't adjust. The ball went right past her and hit the wickets.
That's amazing.
It's a classic example of an opponent using your own predetermined game plan against you.
That level of situational awareness is incredible.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, you have Lauren Bell. Since the 50-over World Cup campaign last October, Bell has made this concerted, almost obsessive effort to focus entirely on the power play, at the first few overs of the game where field restrictions make it easier for batters to score.
Right.
She basically decided, I am going to be the absolute master of the opening moves. It reminds me of a chess grandmaster who spends months obsessing exclusively over their opening moves.
That's a great way to put it.
They don't even bother practicing the endgame. They just want to mentally break their opponents right out of the gate so the endgame doesn't even matter.
What's fascinating here is how that relentless early pressure from Bell, Smith, and Dean suffocated Ireland, ultimately forcing them into a really desperate reactionary position. I mean, look at what Bell did. She dismissed Ireland's captain, Gabby Lewis, for a first ball duck,
Meaning Lewis was out on the very first ball she faced without scoring a single run.
Exactly. She tried to hit it, and it was brilliantly caught by Heather Knight and short, fine leg. So suddenly, Ireland is sitting at 16 for 2. When you lose your captain on ball 1, the psychological air gets sucked right out of the room.
Oh, absolutely. And England didn't let them breathe at all. Charlie Bean comes in and delivers an absolutely stifling performance, 2 for 11 from 4 overs.
Yeah, that's a 2.75 economy rate.
Which is absurdly low in this format. She even bowled a wicket maiden where Alana Dolzell was caught low by Freya Kemp. Now, for the uninitiated, throwing a maiden over means you bowl 6 consecutive deliveries and the batters fail to score a single run. To throw a wicket maiden means you didn't let them score, and D, you got someone out. It's the cricket equivalent of a pitcher in baseball throwing an immaculate inning. It completely paralyzes the team at bat.
It creates a massive pressure cooker. And then Sophie Ecclestone comes in to clean up the tail, finishing 3 for 22, which actually tied India's Deepti Sharma at the top of the tournament's wicket-takers list.
Incredible. So the dust settles on the first half of the game. Ireland has posted a pretty pitiful total of 118 for 9. England needs 119 to win. If you're looking at that target, you think this is a walk in the park.
And that is the ultimate trap. A low target naturally leads to a false sense of security. When a team expects to cruise, aggressive bowling from underdogs can induce absolute panic.
And Ireland used that complacency to immediately bite back. They turned this pitiful target into a nightmare chase. Louise Little replaced Ava Canning, who, by the way, needed lower back scans. Keep that in mind because medical caution becomes a huge theme later.
Yes, very important.
So Little smashes an undefeated 26 off 15 balls, including 4 fours off Bell in the last over. And Orla Prendergast hits 26 off 18 balls. So Ireland manufactures this tiny, chaotic burst of momentum.
Use all it takes in T20.
I mean, I have to push back on this a little bit, though. If you're looking at a target of 119, yeah, you think it's a walk in the park. But why does a top order featuring Amy Jones and Danny Wyatt-Hodge suddenly crumble in just 3 deliveries?
Well, this raises an important question about momentum.
Okay.
When the target is 180, a batter like Danny Wyatt-Hodge is fully dialed in. Every shot is hyper-calculated. But when the target is only 119, the subconscious mind says, I have a massive margin for error. So instead of playing a grounded shot, they attempt a low percentage lofted shot.
Which is exactly what happened. They plummeted to 28 for 2. Amy Maguire and Gabby Lewis eliminated both Jones and Wyatt-Hodge. They both holing out to Lewis at wide mid-off.
Right. They casually tried to pop the ball over the fielders, didn't get enough power behind it, and it just hung in the air.
Just an easy catch. And then Prendergast bowls a superb Yorker to take out Alice Capsey. For anyone who hasn't faced a fast bowler, a Yorker is a ball aimed directly at your toes. It's terrifying.
It really is. It's the ultimate test of reflex.
Yeah.
And because Capsey was newly at the crease, stepping into a high panic situation, her reflexes weren't primed.
So suddenly, England's comfortable stroll has turned into a nightmare. With the top order in shambles, they desperately needed stability, and they found it in their veterans, the old guard, former captain Heather Knight and her successor, Nat Sciver-Brunt.
Between those two, you're looking at 592 international appearances, with 277 of those in T20s. That is a mountain of muscle memory.
Yeah, they don't panic. They just methodically put together a crucial 64-run partnership to break the back of the chase. Knight was eventually split from the partnership when Prendergast overturned an LBW verdict in Knight's favor.
Right, but they did the structural damage to Ireland's comeback by then.
Exactly. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because at 119 for 6, England needed just 9 runs from 25 balls. Sciver-Brunt is completely dominating. She's sitting at 48 off 37 balls.
Just 2 runs away from a half-century.
Right, a massive personal milestone. And then she quits. She just turns around and walks off the pitch. She is officially recorded as retired out, not retired hurt, but retired out. This is the first time this has ever happened in a T20 World Cup.
It's unbelievable.
I want you, the listener, to imagine you're watching a marathon runner stop 1 inch from the finish line to tie their shoe, walking away at 48 runs when you only need 9 runs to win. That takes an unbelievable amount of ego suppression.
It really does. And to understand why she did it, you have to look at the medical context. She went straight to the dressing room.
Wow.
The ECB confirmed she had tightness in her left calf.
And this wasn't just any calf.
No, it was the exact same calf she tore on April 29th while playing domestic cricket. That injury kept her out all summer until 2 recent warm-up matches.
Where she hit a half-century against India and 46 not out against Sri Lanka, so she was clearly in form.
Exactly. But she felt a twinge. and knew that stretching for those last 2 runs might turn a tight muscle back into a full tear. Her post-game quote was so revealing. She said, "It was just precautionary. I thought I'd better not push it."
I thought I better not push it.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is a masterclass in modern sports science and tournament strategy. Sciver-Brunt prioritized the rest of the World Cup over a personal milestone. It showcases an elite clinical mindset over emotional glory.
It fundamentally redefines what it means to be a team player. After she left, Freya Kemp was run out, but Danny Gibson and Charlie Dean safely saw England home with 15 balls to spare.
Yeah.
So it's a win. But a laborious, gritty win defined by early bowling mastery, a veteran rescue, and this historic display of medical caution. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? Because true expertise, whether in cricket, business, or life, isn't just about pushing through adversity. It's about knowing exactly when to step off the gas to protect your long-term goals.
That's the real takeaway. Having the discipline to pull yourself out of the game when your internal dashboard flashes red.
Which leaves me with a final thought for you to explore on your own. We just saw a player retire out for purely precautionary reasons based on her own feeling. But if this becomes a successful strategy, could we soon see a future where batters are routinely pulled mid-innings based on real-time wearable biometric data?
Oh, wow. That's a fascinating thought.
Are we approaching an era where the traditional romantic notion of batting until you're out is replaced entirely by algorithmic health management? Imagine a computer pinging a coach to say a player's calf has a high chance of tearing on the next sprint, and they just pull her off the pitch immediately.
The game would completely change.
It really would. Something to keep in mind the next time you look at a simple scorecard and assume you know the whole story. Until next time, keep digging deeper.